It's recording.
We good?
We're good.
Okay, Rich Gower is here. If you'll join us in the pledge of allegiance, we'll get started.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome. Got an agenda before us. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we adopt and approve the agenda.
Is there a
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now I'm gonna need a motion to go into Board of Equalization.
I make a motion that we go into the Board of Equalization, RPO 3467-03, Brian and Carrie Bowie.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're officially in. We will turn a little bit of time over to you, Brian and Perry, to give us your findings, and then we'll ask for some findings from the assessor, and then we'll make the decision.
Good morning,
Please.
commissioners.
Please state your name for the record.
Perry Povey.
Brian Povey.
I have provided the survey that was completed to kind of outline our parcel, as well as an email from Randy at your planning and zoning department, verifying that this is in a flood zone. Just a little bit of backstory on this property. My in-laws owned multiple parcels that are all contiguous to each other. They have separated out those parcels into 5 sections and divvied 3 of them out to each sibling. That's how we acquired this property after some health conditions for my mother-in-law last year. The property is going to be maintained as it is right now. They use it they have a horse and a couple cows that they use for parcel C and over into our parcel D. But our parcel is in a current flood zone and is not buildable as assessed. So we would look a rejection. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No.
Okay, so I would ask the question, did you have it appraised?
We did not,
You
no.
did not have it appraised. Okay. Zan, do you have any questions?
So where did you come up? I mean, there's a big difference between the two prices. How did you come up with $10,000? What was your?
Honestly, and Chris may be a better reference for this. I had no idea, it was just a number. I mean, it has no water rights. It's literally, you can't develop or do anything with it. Most of it's kind of got a hill that's kind of incorporated. You can kind of see that pretty much is just sagebrush. So really that was just a stab in the dark.
Just a
Yeah, just
big wild guess.
a wild guess. Yeah.
Understandable. That's a big difference there.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know when they separated the parcels, it dropped us below that 5 acres for the ag.
Uh-huh.
We know, we've been told there's another ag exemption you can do, but you have to have $1,000 a year. We live in Pocatello, we're not gonna be cattle farmers. We're not gonna charge my in-laws $1,000 to use the land for their animals that they gifted us. And so.
Zach, have you got any questions?
I drive by this piece of ground about 10 times a day between my house and my farm in Weston there, so I'm very familiar with it. And I would agree with the way the Povies have characterized the parcel. It's a small parcel right along the Weston Creek. The flood zone, I mean, it's in like the 100-year flood zone there. So I would think that they're correct in terms of the assessment that it's not a buildable lot. As far as value goes, I don't know. I mean, I've bought some unirrigated dry farm ground recently, and paid about $3,500 an acre for that. So maybe they're not that far off really. With I think 10,000 is what they valued it at. So it's just over 3 acres, right?
Right, yeah, 3.6.
3.61.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's just actual, purchased farmland that's dry farm in Weston. So that's just kind of my experience there.
Chris, can you, give us your findings?
Yes.
So far, I should say.
I did check with Randy Henry, I'm Chris Barton, Franklin County Assessor. I did check with Randy Henry, the building inspector, and asked him about, whether the lot was unbuildable. And, he said it's in a floodplain, so it is unbuildable. I noticed in the email that was provided that he doesn't say it's unbuildable. He just says you'd have to go through FEMA and get flood insurance to build there. Which from a practical standpoint is probably a minor distinction. So based on it being unbuildable, we looked at the property as if it was recreational land. And there's very little sales that go through the multiple listing service that show recreational land, but my appraiser was able to find 3 examples. One of them is landlocked and unbuildable because you can't get there. And that sale happened last year. And it was 9.9 acres, which would put it at $13,485 an acre. Then we've got 2 others that are up Bear River Ranches that the access is horrible. And so most people don't build up there. There are a few, but most of them don't build because of the expense and trying to hit a well. When you're building on a mountaintop and drill a well, it gets deep. And those were both 5-acre pieces, and they were at 23,000 an acre and 19,500 an acre. If we were going to value it as an agricultural parcel, they would need to apply, of course, during the application period from January 1st and to April 15th. And that would require, because it's under 5 acres, they have to gross $1,000 on the property from an agricultural business. And horses don't count as agriculture, but sheep, goats, cows, they all do.
Can I stop you right there and ask you a question? So they may not be grossing $1,000, but if the person they're renting it to is grossing $1,000, does the ag exemption come back in? In other words, they've rented it for $100 an acre. So which is insane, but they rented it for $100 an acre. So they've got $300, but the people who have rented it for its historic use, which is ag, are grossing $1,000.
On that, well, that gets harder to show because you'd have to show that they grossed $1,000 on the 3.6 acres, not on the whole thing.
That'd take a third of a steer.
Yeah,
I mean, one steer's gonna gross you $3,000.
that's,
And on that acre, you're gonna raise 3 steers.
and we have people that do just that. They'll put 1 steer on it and that qualifies for the agricultural production.
So my question is, even though so their in-laws are using the property for ag purposes like it's been used in the past, they've deeded the ground to them, do they qualify for that ag exemption if that steer still stays on that ground in the existing use?
Not that I'm aware of, but I would be happy, should that question come up in an application, I would be happy to look. We're outside the application period for ag valuation at this point.
Okay, go, sorry for interrupting.
No. So based on the limited number of sales that we have for smaller parcels. I mean, you know, when you're buying ag land that's dry farm and, if you're buying 40, 50 acres, it's different because it's not a linear scale for value per acre. So going with the ones that we have, we can come up with a value that we can defend based on comparable sales at 17,000 an acre, which for this piece would be $61,370 based on Randy's assessment that it is unbuildable. Therefore, we'd say, okay, it's recreational.
I live up Cub River and I got a right of way through my place. I mean, I drive on a right of way to get to my house, to the farmer's property. And when I bought this house, there was 3 acres with it. And they split an acre off and was gonna build another, they're gonna put another lot up there. Well, Commissioner Swainson was on planning and zoning when we went through this battle. Yeah, I have a 25-foot right of way. You can't put 2 houses on a 25-foot right of way. And so that kept him from being able to sell that as a building lot. So he listed as recreational property, which he could. And anyway, I ended up paying $18,000 for a little over an acre to keep somebody from building above me, you know. Unbuildable lot. I didn't want kids up there recreating. And I could see this being recreational property if kids start a bonfire on it and hang out and make a mess.
I wouldn't dispute that.
Yeah.
I won't dispute any of that. I honestly don't dispute anything that Chris is saying. I just, more than anything, I think we wanted to clarify that what we.
I think you have a legitimate case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a legitimate case. It's overvalued. But where do we find the happy medium?
Well, I think Chris was
Pretty close.
getting to that.
That's what I came up with, and my office and I, as assessors to equalized values, we are comfortable amending it to the $17,000 an acre, which would give this a total valuation of $61,370.
100,000, over 100,000 off.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yeah, please.
So if today we decide that that's what we want to do and value it at that recreational value, and then next January, if the Povies wanted to come in and try and switch it to an ag type use, that would be the process. I mean, they'd have to wait until the next application period, but that would be a possibility, and then you could investigate and all those kind of things we already talked about. Is that true, Chris?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We take new applications all the time during that time period.
Got it.
That was my thought exactly, Zach, is we do what we have to do now, but then next application period, because I think this ground's gonna qualify for the ag exemption.
Yeah.
Because of how it's being used versus how it's always been used.
Yeah, it's been, I don't see a real problem with that.
Which will bring that, the ag valuation is what?
3,500 an acre.
Well, no.
Or whatever the assessor comes up with at that point.
Assessment comes up with.
Dry, it's about 300, I think.
Yeah, that's more, I think, more.
Like $300 and
Yes.
it's pretty cheap.
It's quite a huge difference.
And the ag exemption could work even though it's my in-laws that are,
I think he's gonna do some homework to do that.
I'll have to check on that one.
In my mind, common sense is, yeah, it hasn't changed use. And, I mean, if you're growing one steer on it, way surpassed. So, I mean, maybe you buy the steer. Maybe you buy half of the steer and your parents eat half of it and you eat half of it, you still surpass the $1,000 arrows. By double, triple, so. Okay, Zach, any other questions?
No more questions for me.
Dan, any other questions?
No, I think
Chris, do you have any more to add?
No, that's just my recommendation based on what we know now about the property, that we would be comfortable with that valuation.
Then I'll ask you, Povies, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, do we make the decision here and now? I would entertain a decision in the form of a motion from either one of my two cohorts.
I make a motion that we go with Mr. Barton's resolution that it's priced at $17,000 per acre for a total value of $61,370. With them getting the ability to come in next January and reclassify it as ag ground and go from there. That would be my motion.
Is there a second?
I like that motion. I will second it.
It's moved and seconded. Any other discussion? None, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So there we have it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. With that, I would entertain a motion to leave the Board of Equalization.
I make a motion that we leave the Board of Equalization.
There a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn this.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Zach, for zooming in.
Yeah.
No worries.
Good luck
Thanks
to you.
for, yep. See you guys later. Thanks.
Thank you.